She's very cold-blooded. That's the sound of my electric fuel pump. There's a replacement fuel gauge that I bought. It kind of matches the style of the car, but it's not right. Alright, kids. Let's take this thing for a little bit of a test ride. I adjusted the timing a little bit, but I think I need a carburetor rebuild. I should probably mount this camera somewhere rather than, handheld it, But figured I'd go for a little test drive. Welcome to my 67 Bug. It's a little rattly. I'm noticing some rattles. I don't like rattles in a Volkswagen. They're pretty solidly built cars, especially when you replace all the window rubbers and stuff. But today, having a little bit of a test and tune and get some gas in it. I think I set my idle a little too low. I gotta keep touching it to keep it idling. Catch up to traffic. Need to fix this bent wing. I can close it, but it whistles really bad. You hear it? Me no likey. So the car means a lot to me. I think I bought it in, what was it, 2015? So about 10 years ago. Yeah, it's 2025, so yeah, 10 years ago. And I bought it at a really happy point in my life. I had a good career. Thought I happy family and all that good stuff. And my life kind of went to shit. 2016, 2017. And this car means a lot to me because I lost a lot of things in my divorce, but I was able to keep this car. And I can remember, like, the judge, when my ex-wife was talking about, you know, dividing up the assets and stuff. And the judge was kind of, you could tell she was a man-hater. But when the mention of a Volkswagen Bug was, she was like, no, that's his. So, leave it to Volkswagens to unite the world, right? Stuck behind a slow FedEx driver. I'm out here for a cruise, so I shouldn't be worried about FedEx slowing me down. Come on now. My timing's just a little bit off. You hear it pop? It pulls good though. Anyway, this car means a lot to me because I was able to keep it through one of the worst parts of my life. And it sat in a storage unit for a little bit. I might have some pictures to show you. And when I started getting my life back in order and got back up on my feet, this was the first thing I went to recover. You know, I went to that storage unit, threw away most everything that was in that storage unit that I didn't care about, but this was the main goal. And it was a very happy day when I was able to you're not supposed to work on cars and storage units, but I put the motor in it and got it running and drove it to where I was living. Can't say I drove it home because, you know, it wasn't my home. I was a roommate, you know. And the guy I was living with, he was an old friend. And he was cool with me having Volkswagens, so it turned into a nice little situation there where I could work on Volkswagens. Yeah, I gotta fix the timing. It's the timing or the carburetor. It'll idle, but I still gotta touch it. No, he was cool with me working on Volkswagen, so I got this one up and running. And not long afterwards, I restored a 65 Karmann Ghia. Sorry, I'm distracted driving. Restored that 65 Karmann Ghia. I wound up selling it to my boss at the time, so the car's kind of still in the family. Like, I could buy it back if I wanted, but this is my prized possession. This car has been with me through some horrible times, and recently I've decided to put a little effort into making sure that it's running good, and you know, everything's together and clean. And I'm gonna spend a little bit of money on buying like new chrome pieces, and I'm gonna redo the interior. I got to do the headliner. If you look around, the headliner's been cut and nasty stuff. You never know what a Volkswagen's been through. And this one seems like it's been through a lot, which is perfect because that's kind of like me. You know, I've been through a lot, and you know, you got the impression of, oh, hey, it's a Volkswagen. You know, it's dependable, and it'll take you anywhere, and it's easy to work on. And that's kind of like me. A lot of people say I'm dependable and easy to work on. The car's got upgraded suspension on it, so it does ride a little rough. And the seat that I'm sitting in is like a custom bucket seat. I wanted to get two, but I couldn't afford it at the time. And it's a little rough. Like the stock Volkswagen seats, it's like sitting on a box spring. You know, the seat absorbs. The car might ride rough, but the seat kind of absorbs some of it. It's a fun drive. Yes, I heel toe. Car runs really good. Cruises nicely. The heater works. It polished up real good too. But I think the motor that's in it right now, I had somebody rebuild the bottom end. And I have a suspicion that maybe the camshaft is a little bit off, or the distributor gear is a little bit off, because it's very difficult to time the motor correctly. Nice to find some curvy roads. But I need to find a gas station more than anything else. That new fuel gauge, I'm not sure if it's accurate. So let's get us some gas. absolutely beautiful out here today. It's cold, it's like 50 degrees, but you know, with the heater going and stuff, we're fine. Fourth gear, second gear, third gear. There's second. Edit that out. Surrounded by FedEx. Here at the 76 station. Gas gauge is accurate. I put in 8 gallons, put it almost right at the top, and it's a 10-gallon tank, so the new gas gauge is accurate. It's not showing completely full right now, which I think is okay. I think there's an adjustment on them, but the problem is if you get the adjustment wrong, you're either empty when you still have 3 gallons, or empty when you actually only have like 1 gallon. I like a 2-gallon reserve. That gives you 50 to 60 miles. It sometimes has a hard time starting after I've been driving for a while. And, you know, a lot of that can be like vapor lock or whatever, but I think I want to take the carburetor off and clean it really good and see if that solves some of my problems. It could be a plugged idle circuit, it could be any number of things. Plus, we're at high altitude, and the engine does have some modifications to it. So I might want to think about rejetting the carburetor as well. But I don't know. So far, I'm satisfied. Right now, while we're driving. But there's nothing worse than getting somewhere, you know, doing your shopping or whatever you got to do. It's got a little wobble in the steering too. I think I might have lost a wheel weight. We're living on a dirt road, so it would make sense. That has been sitting a lot too, so the tires might have flat spots. Anyway, it's embarrassing to go somewhere and then try to start your car to leave and it won't start. So I need to get in there and make sure the idle circuit's clean and a whole bunch of other stuff. But I'm glad I'm taking this time to address a few things with the car and make sure everything's running okay. And like I said earlier, this car has treated me very well, and it's basically my best friend, you know. And it handles good. Fast. I mean, I could hit third gear in a school zone and not go to prison. I'm gonna back it into the garage. It's kind of running like crap. Let's adjust our mirror so we can actually use it, Sterling. Try not to knock over the motorcycles. It doesn't want to idle. Yeah, I think I'm going to rebuild the carburetor. I got the kit. Like there, it wants to idle. But then it gets slower and slower and slower, and then it just dies. And died. Leads me to believe that it's a float issue. And you know, I could always just pull off the top half of the carburetor and look, but yeah, I think the carburetor rebuild is in order. It's easy to do. It won't hurt my feelings.